secrets are what actually keeps families alienated and apart. So I wanted my audience to know from the very beginning that their secrets were not only personal, but there were family, and there were national secrets, and racial secrets, and religious secrets. So I asked them to do a stand-up. You know, I said, how many of you were raised in a ghetto? How many were raised in a village, in an urban situation? How many are one-parent children? How many were raised by foster parents? How many are two-family? And then how many of you are from Northern Europe, your parents or grandparents from Africa, Asia, and so on. And finally I asked them to pose for a family portrait. And I was amazed at, as soon as I said the words family portrait, they got together very close.
Look, grief is private. Wounds are ugly. This is out of control.
Why can't you just get on with her life?
Stop already! That's enough! I can't go on anymore like this. I don't care. I have to take that risk. I've got to let go of this. I really believe there's a community of people out there who can stand to hear this, can be in their deeper places, and feel safe.
One thing I found out during this piece was that there are two kinds of secrets. One are those wonderful secrets that lead to mysteries and magic that children have, where they hold a secret from someone and then they find out, or when you look inside of a dark hole in the earth and there's something growing. But then there are the other kinds of secrets, the ones that are used to keep people in small, tight, separated groups, one from the other. And then there's the way that they're kept is by shame in the family, or shame in the religious group, or shame by the nation. And so they're kept apart from everyone else by their secret. And what's so tragic about secrets is that they aren't really secrets. They are unhealed wounds. Wounds that have never been grieved and are passed on by shame through the generations. So there are black secrets and Jewish secrets and women from one group's secrets dividing them from women of another. And instead of glorying in our uniqueness, we are ashamed. And that's what separates us.
My hair is in dreads, and she goes to school and she's very much inundated with the white culture because all of her friends are white. So she wants her hair like that. And I'm starting to think back of how when black women begin to straighten their hair.
I knew that somewhere I had another family of origin.
Of my daughter and my other daughter's husband. What?
Oh, shame hides our soul.
Shame hides our soul.
Shame hides our soul. It hides our soul. It hides our soul. It hides. It hides our soul. Shame hides our soul.
Shame to bring my friends home.
But look, choose. You are a Jew. You are.
I presented purses and pockets in 4 different communities. The African American community, the Jewish community, the community of people aware of planetary consciousness, and also the psychological community. In each one of these communities, I chose artists and scholars who both co-facilitated and helped me design all the rituals.
At this time, we ask the ancestors to come and join us as we unveil our wounds this evening, as we experience the healing and the communal love that I know is going to be among us. Welcome to Purses, Pockets, and Family Secrets. Tonight is a work in progress. Tonight's presentation is the 4th in a series of workshops. It is an emotional drama which involves some aspects of performance, but also invites your participation. Purses and pockets are places where we keep things that no one else can see. We hide these wounds and our shame by keeping them secret, hidden in our purses and in our pockets. We artfully create masks and wrappings a central metaphor of the work to protect ourselves against repeated harm. But they form barriers between ourselves and others. The more wounds, the more shame, the more mask, and before long we become a complex system of denials and avoidance. It is our hope tonight that we can begin, through Fanchon's example of public revelation, to name our wounds and acknowledge the pain they have caused us, to openly defy the power of shame. We will also unwrap our bindings, and together, in a supportive community, we will begin the healing process.
Home, a loving home, a soulful home, a magic home, a
My mother,
home,
through her shame,
a fresh air,
taught me about shameful secrets. When I looked into the family albums, I found my father's face was cut out of the photos. Little holes where my father should have been.
In this frantic, turbulent atmosphere, with an aging, hysterical mother,
Being born in crisis is a wound most of us share.
I first drew breath.
It's the child in us. It's the child in us. It's the child that learns to never disobey authority. It's the child in us that learns to be subservient. And it takes great courage as an adult to acknowledge that the wounds are so deep.
My own,
The abandonment at birth
all,
that we experience individually, we experience as nations. African Americans ripped away from their continent and brought to another land, ripped away from their mother. Sexual abuse, being torn, being violated, our purses opened against our will. Self-hatred, suicide, planetary annihilation. Addiction, hunger to return to an unwounded place. Religious systems that perpetuate the wounds by not grieving, the old images that create power over us. Safe communities, wanting to become closer to one another, take part. And in the embarrassment and rawness of watching one person begin to grieve and heal, a whole community can perhaps begin to release themselves. And those wrappings or bonds that were our concealments, as we unwind them and connect them to one another in acknowledgement that they are also the bonds that have tied us, and also the bonds that, if we could share our secrets, might make us feel connected. shameful secrets are hidden deep in our bodies. They inhibit ecstasy in our families and communities and in ourselves. But facing our shame together, even though it's excruciatingly painful, it refreshes and allows us all to feel connected to a larger reality. We've been taught to suffer alone, constrained by taboos, to silence. It's time we recognize that it is our shame that keeps us from being nourished as nations, as earthlings, as ethnic groupings, as religions, as taxpayers, as parents, as addicts, as family. It's time for us to find ways, all kinds of ways to nourish one another.
Exactly.
And number two, you must love the child. Learning without love is contradictory, isn't it?
That's your line, isn't it? I remember you told me that when we were talking the other night. You got to love that child.
In order to give them the information that they need.
Mm-hmm. That's so very true. Like, I have a 3-year-old, and she just amazes me because the joy that she got when she learned her alphabet or when she made an A, you know, it just instilled in me the basics. You know, you can't get away from those basics, things we take for granted. You know, everything to her is something brand new. And I think well, not just our people, but people as a whole reach a certain level where we refuse to learn things. We feel we know it all, and the rest is just going through life, going through the motions. But if you constantly realize you got to learn and grow, you know, that puts a little bit more spice in life.
Do you think maybe the punishment and reward system has something to do with that?
Or not growing? No, not really, because it's the influence. People are so easily influenced now, because if you don't have anything to hold on to, it's going to be easy for you to hold on to something that looks good. So a lot of times, a life of crime, if it's sold, and most things are sold to an individual, if that sounds good, they will disregard the punishment system. You know, they know